for a client meeting, if you're able to leave them inspired, right, you create your visibility and your chances of selling there increases. Even if you're a college student, you're doing graduation, post graduation, if you deliver a memorable talk on a college fest or an event, you create your opportunity, you create a lot of possibilities to stand out in various things on the entire duration of 3 years or 4 years. So public speaking helps us in many ways. All right. Now, secondly, I would like to talk about that every time now, something related to our topic, every time we go in front of people, and it does not really matter. See, when I'm saying that you go in front of the people, doesn't mean that you have to have a stage, you have to have a set of 50 or 100 people, and then you stand with a mic and then you talk. That is also public speaking. But also, if you're talking to one to, let's say, 2 people, 3 people, 4 people, 10 people, and stage doesn't mean have to have a physical stage. Wherever you're going to a grocery shop to buy a packet of bread for you, and you stop by, and there are 3 4 people, you stop by and you just talk about weather, right? That's also public speaking. That for that point of time, that is a stage for you. So stage does not necessarily has to have like a physical setup wherein you stand and talk, and there has to be a projector, speaker, like a formal setup, right? Even if you every point of time you're talking and the space you're standing, that is a stage for you. Now, every time you go in front of the people and talk, or we want to express ourselves, there are 5 enemies I precisely would like to talk about in this forum today, that is working against us, and that is why I call them our enemy, because they are like hindrances that is working against us. Anybody would like to guess what could be the first enemy whenever we talk in front of the people, which is working against us? Anybody would like to comment on the chat box? Stress, of course. All right, stress could be one. Fear, exactly, fear of what if I fail, what if I forget, what if I go blank. Absolutely. Lack of preparation, absolutely, because a lot of things it is which is working at the back of our head. What if I go blank? What if people will ridicule? Excuse me. Sorry. Right? And what else? Stress, fear, lack of preparation, because it is all the time happening at the back of our head. Like every time you go in front of shit. That is why there is a technical term in public speaking called glossophobia, which is nothing but the fear of public speaking. Right? The stress, fear, lack of preparation, all that. But I would like to first talk about the biggest enemy which is working against you, which is causing a lot of trouble for you whenever you stand and talk in front of the people, and it's gonna blow your mind if I tell you that. Would you like to know that what? So let me type that over here. So if you're attending the webinar, I would request you all to just grab a notepad and a pen, because I would want you to write these 5 parameters, the 5 enemies, which is the crucial ones as regards public speaking, right? The first one, and I'm sure it's gonna surprise you to the most. The first enemy whenever we're standing and talking in front of the people are nothing but our own hands. It is nothing but our own hands, exactly, because we just don't know what to do with the hands, right? Because some people do it like this, some people cross arms, some people put it at the back, some people do it like this, some people hold something, some people grab a book or a diary, or they hold something like that, then they're talking, because we just don't know what to do with the hands, because hands are troubling you all the time, and every time you cross your arms, every time you put your hands in the pocket, it is causing a negative, because these are all negative gestures. Cross arms, that means, it shows aggression, it shows a bossy attitude, it shows defiance. Hands in the pocket shows that you're suspicious, shows lack of confidence. And we find it very awkward to stand still, right? We find it very awkward to stand still, because hands are troubling you all the time, and we just don't know what to do with the hands, right? So I would like to tell you one appropriate posture whenever you're standing and talking in front of the people, and this posture will also make you feel good, and also make you look confident. And this posture is called, I would like to write it here, it is called steeple. Steeple, you can note it down, and I would like to show you over here. So steeple is that you stand, right? This is namaskar, okay? You basically join your fingertips, and you talk. So good morning, everyone. My name is Devesh. I would like to welcome you all in this webinar. And this afternoon, we'd like to talk about this book called Who Moved My Cheese? And this is the highest selling book on change management, right? So as you're talking, you're making use of your hands, right? And then putting back, and then you're making use of hands. That is how we use our hands. And it's a great idea when you're talking and you're making use of hand. It shows confidence. So whenever you're talking, instead of putting your hands crossed or having crossed arms or hands in the pocket, try to make use of your hands. It makes you look confident as you make a point in a discussion. Why is it called steeple? Because that is how it is originated. So let me tell you, all the etiquette, all the body language, everything is acquired from, let's say, uh, if you talk about the root of it, it comes from army, right? And that is where it has been nomenclature, all the design, everything has happened. And if you want to learn more about body language, you must read this book from this person who is in Australia, and his name is Alan Peace. Alan Peace. Alan Peace has written a lot of book on body language, etiquette, finesse. It's gonna blow your mind. It's an amazing work Alan Peace has done, and he's published. And there are a lot of, so I think 80 to 90% of the books on the corporate etiquette, body language, posture is from Alan Peace. So it's a great buy. I mean, if you want, you can go ahead with that. So number one enemy is our own hands. Okay. Okay, great. Now, are you interested in knowing the second enemy? Right? Yes or no in the chat box. Right? Yes or no? You want to know the second enemy? Now, the second enemy is nothing but our filler words, the usage of filler words. And what are filler words? What are filler words? Anybody? Would you like to write that over here? Exactly. Ours and I like, you know, uh, basically, a lot of people have this pet word. These are all called crutch word also. So you must have seen a lot of forget about celebrities because they're into a different profession altogether. But as a speaker, if you use filler words, most of the times your audience start paying attention to the filler words more than your actual content, and which is one of the biggest distractions. So how to come out of that? How to come out of that? One of the greatest way to avoid filler word is, instead of using unwanted word, which is like our r's and the erms, take a meaningful pause. Take a meaningful pause. So let me give an example. Let me demonstrate that. So somebody asked me, when did you buy your mobile phone? So there are two ways I can reply this question. Number one, I would say, I think it was around, it was last December. So I used two, three, and then I said last December. I can say, I think it was last December. Which one sounded better? First one or the second one? Which one was like appropriate? Of course, the second one, because I didn't know. Because, and a lot of people have this very, very peculiar habit that they have a lot of R's and the erms, and I know, basically, right? So it's a great idea to not to use this unwanted words, right? And a meaningful pause will replace your all the crutch words and the filler words, and which will make you a more refined speaker. So always remember that. Let's proceed towards the third enemy that we have in public speaking. And the third enemy is that I would want to note it down. We want to project ourselves as perfect. So the third enemy is this mindset, is that we always want to chase perfection. Let me tell you, I mean, I would want to write it down, and this is like a golden statement. Just write it down. This is, perfection is prison. Just write that. Perfection is prison. Right? Because of you being perfect, you make a lot of mistakes. Perfection is present, exactly, Vignesh. Right? So don't chase perfection. Try to put in your 110%. Practice perfect practice, and that is the way towards perfection. Because if you practice it, of course you're on the track towards perfection. But if you chase perfection, that let me be perfect, let me tell you a smallest example. So in this lockdown, what had happened in the past couple of years? In the past couple of years, people have taken a lot of digital route. People have started making a lot of people have increased their online presence, and people have started making their videos, and a lot of people have got amazing knowledge and the skill set, right? Their knowledge is such that it's gonna blow the world. But despite that, people do not make videos and share it to the world. And you know what? Why do they not make videos? Because they think that they might not look good before the camera. How? I mean, such a silly thought, such a silly mindset. Just because of one mindset, which is a limiting belief you have that you might not look good, or I might not be comfortable, or people might not like me because I'm not perfect. I think I'm little obese. I think my hairstyle is not good. I think I look this way. I look that way. I think all that because of this mindset that let me be perfect. It has limited lot of opportunities in your life. All right, so always operate from a mindset that you give your 110%, and don't aim for perfection, because eventually if you're giving your 100%, you're practicing, it will lead you to perfection automatically. All right, so come out of this mindset. This is a limiting belief which will limit a lot of possibilities for you in your life. All right, then come, let's talk about the fourth point, which is people, when they start their speech, or when they start their talk, they don't follow a structure. They don't follow a structure, which is, I think I've just not written it. Fourth is exactly no structure. So no structure. So let me tell you the power of three in public speaking. The power of three in public speaking. So everything, why three? Because the three has got some power, right? Because if you talk about, it comes in, let's say, so in public speaking we said that number one, the structure should be a very simple, which is called a power of three. And number one is, tell them what you're going to tell them. Tell them what you're going to tell them. Number two, tell them, actually tell them. And number four, tell them what you've told them, which is like a conclusion, which is just like a wrapping up. All right. So number one is tell them what you. So at the start of the speech, tell them what you're going to tell them. Number two, tell them actually. And number three, tell them what you have told them. So if you follow a structure, so if you remember, when I started this live streaming, when I started this call, I told you that I talked about everything. So I talked about myself. I talked about myself, my introduction. I talked about your city, and then I told you that what I'm going to cover in this live streaming, and then will we also be doing a live Q&A session. So I told you the structure, and I'm telling you now. And at around, and after 5 minutes, I'll be telling them what we have told them. So we'll be sort of regurgitating it. We'll be reproducing it, or we'll be wrapping it up. We'll be concluding it. So follow the three things, which is a structure. And the great speech would always, a great speech, you really want to deliver a killer speech in front of your stakeholders or audience, always try to have a hook statement in your speech. A hook is something which is like a burning question. A hook is something which is arousing the interest of your audience. Like people have a very boring way of starting the speech. So a lot of people start their speech with something. For example, if it is a physical event, people start with something like, okay, I'm just coming to that, Ramesh. What is a hook statement? So let me tell you some of the average ways of starting the speech. People start their speech with, if for example, if it is a physical event, they start with, hello, am I audible at the back? Can you hear me? People at the last row, can you hear me? Is it okay? So, okay. Now the second one is, people start with, people are very PPT, let's say, stuck to the PPT. They'll say, can you see the PPT? Is it visible? Can we start? Okay, let's go ahead. Can you change the slide? Which is a very boring way of, starting the presentation or any speech. Then people start with thanking a lot of people. Then people say, I would like to thank my boss, I would like to thank my operation manager, I would like to thank my HR head, I would like to thank the distinguished guests who are here to listen to me. Hello, this is not the way to start. So let me tell you, as a speaker, you got to respect every minute of your audience. Because if you're going to make your audience feel that you really respect their time, they start loving you, they start valuing you, right? Their love towards you will be at another level. And that's how a job is for a speaker. So what are the some of the amazing way to start our speech? Anybody would like to tell me that? How should we start our speech? If you really want to deliver a killer speech or a killer presentation, what are some of the finest ways to start a speech, or some of the most amazing way to start a speech? Anybody would like to tell me some of the best strategies to start a speech? Anybody would like to? Some humor, all right, some humor, amazing, great. What else? What else? A powerful statement, setting the tone, exactly. But exactly, Aditya, how to set the tone then? How to then set the tone? All right, so let me tell you that. So in banking, there is something called KYC. Now, KYC is what? Know your customers. In public speaking, we call something called KYA, which is know your audience. Know your audience. Now, let's imagine you're sitting with a team of sales, a sales team you're sitting with. You're going to address a talk to 50 salespeople, right? 50 salespeople. Now, one amazing way, which is a hook statement, or a burning question. Some of this is one of the same thing. Either you start with a hook statement or a question, a burning question. Now, a burning question to start the talk would be, how many of you here would be interested in knowing how to earn 25% extra offer incentive? May I see the raise of hands? Example number two. You're sitting with people who are like health freak. You're sitting with the people who, and you're going to deliver a talk on fitness, and they're all the people who really want to know fitness from you. They're sitting there. One amazing way to start, again with a hook statement: how many of you would want to lose 5 kgs extra without compromising on your favorite food? May I see the raise of hands? Now, if you do that, if you start your statement with a hook statement or a burning question, you instantly have their attention. You instantly have their attention, and you have set the tone for the rest of the time, right? And if you're able to set their mood or set the tone, they will look forward to their speech. They look forward to your speech. Are you with you all? Are you all with me? Yeah, are you all with me? Can you write yes or no in the chat box? Is the concept of hook clear? And at the same time, I would like to know from you all that what do you think is the listening span for human beings? What do you think is the listening span for human beings? So listening span is like when you're talking, for how long do you think that your audience will listen to you attentively? So if you're starting your speech, or let's say you're starting your speech, how long do you think your audience will hear you attentively or listen to you attentively? 20 minutes, 45 minutes? All right. All right. What do you think is the listening span for humans? Listening span for humans. Come on, come on, come on. More options. 45 minutes, 20 minutes, 8 minutes. All right. So I can see that you're slightly decreasing that from 45 minutes to 20, and then from 20 to 8 minutes. So let me tell you, the listening span for human beings is just 30 seconds. You can note that down. 30 seconds. After every 30 seconds, their mind will meander here and there. So it is your responsibility as a speaker to hook them, to have their, let's say, listening arenas glued to you. And your job as a speaker is even more tough, to retain their attention all the time in your speech, because psychologically, if from in every 30 seconds, their mind will meander here and there. Exactly, that's how it is. Okay, so that's how it is. And also, there are other ways of starting their speech. Number one is a hook statement. Number two would be, you can start with some amazing facts, some numbers, some amazing powerful stories, something which can something which can arouse a lot of curiosity in them, something which can shock them, suspense them, something you can put them in suspense. So some figures you can start with. You can start with some stories. You can start with a burning question or a hook statement. You can start with some numbers, something like that. So I could have also started with something that, do you all know that the 75% of the population in the world suffer from this disease called glossophobia? And what is glossophobia? Glossophobia is nothing but the fear of public speaking. That's one way of starting it. All right. So we have completed 4 enemies. So number 5 enemy is, number here is that I versus you. I versus you. Usage of a language which is I versus you. The moment you go in front of people and you use a language which is, I want to tell you, I want to show you, I'm here to teach you, you need to learn, you need to listen, you create a barrier between you and them. Yeah, and that works psychologically in their minds. And somewhere you're creating something, a set of audience which is against you. Then they think that, okay, I'm there, he's there, so you are sounding or you're projecting yourself that you are superior than them. I mean, as a speaker, we got to be very, very friendly. Okay, so it's a great idea to use a language which is that, okay, we have all come here to learn together. Let's learn together. All right, let's put our thinking hats. Let's see that, let's explore that, let's discover that together. A usage of a language which is like, in a third person, I think it will give you a lot of value in your speech. All right, so with this I would like to wrap up my speech, which but I would like to have a lot of Q&A from you all, but I would like to, if covered. And so the 5 enemies we have covered is, number one is, anybody would like to type that here, number one enemy which is working against us whenever we are starting a speech or delivering a speech. What is that? Hands. What is number 2? What is number 2? Followers. Absolutely. What is the number 3 enemy? Number 3 enemy. No structure. Absolutely. What is number 4? Number 4. Number 4. Hook statement. Absolutely. And what is the last one? I mean, the recently we just now spoke about. I versus you. A language I versus you. Amazing. Thank you very much. Now I'm here for a live Q&A. So any questions you have, you would like to ask me, I'll be really happy to answer you. But before that, let me tell you that, would you be interested in learning more about public speaking from me? Can I see a yes or no from the chat, in the chat box? Because I have something with me, I would like to share that with you. Amazing. Can I see your responses in the chat box, everyone? Let me type something over here. All right, so what I want to share with you is that this Sunday, which is on 1st May, I'm doing a live webinar wherein I'm going to talk about some amazing stuff on public speaking for 90 minutes, which is going to be absolutely free. And I would like to share the link with you. So the link is, I've just now shared with you. So this is, you can open this link, you'll land up, it will take you to my landing page. You can register yourself and you can join my WhatsApp group. And this is scheduled on Sunday, 1st May from 11 o'clock, and it's going to be for 90 minutes. And this is going to be an amazing session, amazing webinar. I call it a masterclass. I'm going to share some amazing facts about public speaking, which is certainly going to blow your mind. Okay, no, it is not on Creta. It is a separate webinar. It will happen on Zoom. So I do my webinar. I try to do it on Sundays. This time it's scheduled on 1st May. Okay, it will happen on Zoom. So you can register yourself and you can attend my webinar. It's going to be something worth attending on a Sunday. All right, now I'm here for a question answer. Any question you'd like to ask me, I'll be happy to answer. Please go ahead, ask me questions. Okay, how can we come up with a good hook statement? All right, Shreyas. So Shreyas, I told you something called KYA. Remember KYA? What is KYA? Can you write that? Can you write the full form of KYA? Exactly. So if you know your audience, you'll have some amazing hook statements. So if you're going to a student, create a hook statement from something which really excites them. All right. If it is a student, so if you know your audience, you can create your. So, for example, I give an example of if you're addressing a sales team, what will be sales people interested of having earning some extra incentives, right? So you can create your hook statement. When how many of you are interested in earning some extra incentive? Raise your hands. All right. Find out what excites them, what is of their interest area or interest, let's say, statement for them, and you'll find your hook statement over there. Can you tell us again how can we come up with a structure? All right. So if you want to talk about a structure, so the structure is number one. Whenever we start your speech, you start with a hook statement. Okay, that is where you set the tone, you set the mood for the rest of your speech with your audience, because that is where if you have a really strong hook statement, you've set their mood and they look forward to the rest of the speech. Okay, and after that, you can tell them about yourself, something about yourself, what's in store for them, what are you going to do them, and you can also share something like, so if you follow a structure, it could be a hook statement, and then some excitement. You ensure that your message, your speech. So okay, let me write it over here. Let me write it over here. So it could be hook statement, and then and explain that also. 1 minute. Excitement, message, call to action. All right. So I've given you over here. So start your speech with a hook statement. How many of you said the tone? You know that I've told you already. Number two, share some excitement, right? So in this speech, I'm going to tell you two amazing secrets about related to your topic. For example, you're giving a speech about being healthy or being fit. You can tell in your speech that after your hook statement, in my speech today, I'm going to share with you two amazing secrets, a latest news from health industry which is going to blow your mind. So what you've said the two excitement statement, and people will look forward to that in your speech. And then you can have a message. You can also share some personal story, how how has been your journey when you chose fitness. You can share your personal message, and always end the speech with a call to action. A call to action is something, what do you want your audience to do after your speech? It could be, if you want, for example, my call to action was, I shared my link. If you really, if you want to know more from me, you can join my WhatsApp group, and we'll be doing a webinar together. That was my call to action. You can also give a call to action. What do you want your audience to do after your speech? It could be, you all the people who are interested can fill this form. You want them to, uh, let's say, join your WhatsApp group. You can do that. You want them to do some work or something to share with you, or to give you a call. That's a call to action. Because if you have a strong call to action, your message really retains in their mind. All right. So follow the steps: hook statement, excitement, right? Share some personal story, which is a message you're learning from the topic, and a call to action. What is that you want your audience to put action into? That is a call to action. All right. Great, Ramesh. Thanks for this question. SJ, how do you know when we get caught in the perfection prison? All right. So if you're all the time, let me tell you a personal an incident from my personal life. Now, every time I still conduct a lot of training sessions in corporates. I go to a lot of corporate houses. I go to a lot of knowledge houses. I go to a lot of institution management colleges. I conduct my program physical event over there. And earlier, I used to be like absolutely perfect in terms of, let's say, whenever I'm everything in terms of my dressing, or in terms of my presenting, or in terms of everything. So what used to happen was, if I have perfection in my mind, it will give you a lot of stress. So if you try to, for example, I as a speaker, I'm a human first, a speaker later. Okay, I may also use a filler word. It's okay to use a filler word as a speaker. It doesn't really matter. You don't have to be feeling guilty about it, because understand you're a human first. So for example, if I'm teaching you, if I'm telling you a usage of a filler word, doesn't mean that I have removed it from me. I can also make mistakes. I can also commit mistakes. I can also use filler word at times, and I do it, which is okay. I accepted me that I do it. It doesn't really matter. So if I operate from a paradigm which is that, oh, I'm a speaker, I must not use a filler word. It is anti me. I can't do that. I shouldn't be doing that. What will they think of me? If I operate from this kind of a paradigm, it will give me a lot of stress, right? So the noble gesture will be accepting that you are, as a speaker, you're also a human. It doesn't really matter you make a mistake in front of your audience. Just carry on. It doesn't really matter, and your audience will love it, and your audience will love to see you making mistakes and then correcting it. Okay, so if I'm teaching my audience that usage of filler words and how to overcome it, and if I think that I cannot make mistakes in front of them, what will they think of me? It's okay if I make a mistake, I'll say, oh, I'm so sorry, because I think I'm human first and then speaker later, and then I can move on like that. I hope I've been able to answer you, SJ. SJ, can I see your confirmation? Exactly. So see, public speaking is a journey. It's a process, and you got to enjoy that. And the moment if you're stuck in ifs and the buts and the perfection triangle, I think you'll not be able to deliver. You'll not be able to do a great job. So just be comfortable, enjoy the moment. Don't you think it's an amazing moment universe has given you, that you're standing in front of the people and you're sharing your knowledge in front of the world? Don't you think it's an amazing thing that has ever happened to you, that the people are sitting there listening to you, all the eyes up at you, all the minds up at you, and they're there looking forward to hear something amazing from you? I mean, it's a moment we got to cherish, enjoy to the fullest. It's going to be a defining moment for us, and that moment could change our perception in people's mind. So I think we got to encash every moment. We got to move encash every bit of it. I mean, smile at them, smile with them, laugh with them, just enjoy the moment. I think that's the short, I think, road towards perfection, and that's how we enjoy, and that's how we reach towards perfection. Yep. Any more question? Thanks, Vignesh. Thank you very much. Yeah, so let's have some more questions if you have. So quickly, if you could just write in, let's say, a one line, how did you find this 30-minute talk of mine? If you could just write, how did you feel? How was your experience? I'll be really happy to read that. Okay, Sherry is saying, I only have one question. How did you get to know your audience in this session? No, I don't even know my audience. I don't know my audience, but I know, because I have been working in the industry. I've been doing this work for past almost like 2 decades now. 18 years is almost like 2 decades, right? So I know public speaking. What could be the level of people, or the age group of the people, which public speaking will be more. Which I mean, who? What kind of mindset? What kind of individuals will be more interested in public speaking? So if I talk about 60 to 70% of the people could be an employee, and some could be management students, because when you're student, when you're doing an MBA or management, even engineering students at times, they are, because this time everybody's into some kind of a presentation. So those could be one. And mostly the people who are working professional, they are the ones who want to acquire the skills more. Okay, sometimes it is always not possible. Absolutely, it's okay, because okay, if you do a live session, for example, if I do a live session on YouTube, Instagram, I may not know my audience. So what best you can do is, see, every problem has a solution, which I did not do today, but I could have done it. You all can do it. If you go live, you can just write, for example, if you see that 10 people have joined in your show, 10 people have joined your session, you can just write then. So for example, I talked about the city today, right? You can also just ask them to type, may I know your profile. What do you do? You're a working professional, or a salaried, or a self-employed, and you'll get to know about them, and then you can initiate a talk accordingly. Thank you very much, Aditya. It was amazing to see your response. Shreyas, does it answer your question? Great. All right. Any other questions you have? So in case you have missed on it, I can share the link again. So this webinar which I do is scheduled for Sunday, which is 1st May, and this is the link. Yeah. Thank you very much, Sadhna. I think all the questions has been answered, and you don't have further questions. So thank you very much for your time and listening to me. It really means a lot to me that you took out 30 minutes for me and you attended my webinar or this live streaming. Thank you very much. And on this note, let's log out. And I wish you all a good rest of the day. Enjoy reading, and I look forward to seeing you all on my event, which is scheduled on 1st May, Sunday from 11 o'clock in the morning. See you. Bye bye.